Okay, recording this video after close trade Wednesday, 7th of May 2014. Hope you had a good day's trading today. Well, I think we have run out of time to break to the downside and have a decent sell-off. And I think we're going to actually crack through 1880 and kind of really get this thing going into a big kind of trending move, another kind of testing of the highs type move. And here's my argument. So today's trade, 1.7 million contracts traded. We couldn't get any kind of distance to the downside, and we're back up sitting underneath this important 1880 level. Cyclical resistance on better sine wave, busting through that would take us into another trend move on the daily chart, and I think that's what we're after. Better trend line shows exactly what's kind of going on, winding up of this situation. I was talking the other day about how the trend line's kind of coming together. They come into this apex, and the more time we spend kind of moving closer and closer towards that apex, the more it kind of builds up this energy for a break either way. We had an initial break to the upside, and we kind of came down, had a couple of weak days in the last couple of days, but then today's activity, we couldn't get past 1850s, and we kind of cracked above this falling trend line again. So better trend line has kind of gone red. We're busting up into an uptrend break, and the reason I think this is going to be a big move, an explosive move, is because we've had all of this coiling up of all this energy kind of going on, and it shows in the way that trend line is, that these trend lines are kind of coming together into this apex, and we spend more and more time in this zone, so that's when we get kind of a big move. And why it's going to break to the upside, and I think we've run out of time. If you look at all of the daily charts for the indices, this is kind of the timing argument. So this is the Dow daily chart. We've been playing with resistance to support on better sine wave, and you can see that support, the cyclical cross, is about to happen probably tomorrow. And in the meantime, what we've done is we've just been playing around underneath this cyclical resistance, and the time that we should have been dropping off, as we had here, for example, resistance to support, have a nice little kind of move to the downside. We've hardly traveled any distance at all to the downside, so the time has run out for that move down. We'll get cyclical resistance cross, all of a sudden the energy starts to move to the upside, and we're looking at the same thing as the Emini, a break above this cyclical resistance into another trending move on the daily chart. The Nasdaq, we had pullback to, again, we're about to print end of trend, go off, and then here's one of these big blue professional bars kind of come in. I did a video a couple of days ago just talking about that on the Forex charts. Here's another kind of spiky big blue professional down bar coming in after Rambo patterns here. So the amateurs kind of leading the way here. They were caught out at the top here, going short here. We had some weakness. This was a weak rally because it was being led by the amateurs here, and then we had a weak amateur up bar here, pull back to end of trend, and then all of a sudden on this dip down today, the professionals step in, they kind of buy those lows, and the time pull back to end of trend, we've kind of run out in terms of that downward cyclical energy, and so it's going to flip to the upside. So the Nasdaq's kind of flipping to the upside. Same story with the S&P 500. Again, that cyclical cross is going to come in probably tomorrow. We've spent no time. It looks exactly the same as the Dow. So the Dow and the S&P 500 looking very similar. We should have been doing something like this, resistance to support, getting moving on the downside, and we haven't. We haven't traveled any distance at all, so now we're going to be breaking up through the resistance into a trend move on the daily chart. And here's Russell. Russell, we don't have volume data, but the price data shows, just like the Nasdaq, these high beta indices have been doing the same pattern. Pullback to end of trend's about to go off. We've got cyclical cross going on here. That'll probably signal tomorrow. We had a spike down bar, again pushing into these kind of lows that have been significant. The last 2 or 3 times we kind of pressed into them. Now this time we closed on the highs. We put in enough damage testing those lows. Looks like we're going to put end of trend in here, then have a break to the upside. So that's my argument for kind of having a break to the upside, and it started to happen on the higher time frame tick bar charts. So if we look at 4,500, 13,500 and 40,500, these are my highest level tick bar charts. So again, there's a factor of 3. 3 times 4,500 gives you 13,500 and so on between these, and you can see on the lower time frames we're breaking above cyclical resistance into a trend move here. So on 4,500, breaking into a trend move, this has got to resolve itself to the upside. We're also breaking through 13,500, so the 70, 72 level is important. When I say we get these kind of coming together and being broken simultaneously, that's when we get kind of bigger trending moves, and these needs to resolve in terms of what the 13,500 is going to do. This has got to run pullback to end of trend. So looking for those, because we're getting that break at the moment. At the same time, any kind of cyclical resistance is going to be in the background. And we're moving away from it into trend moves. The next place we'll find resistance is cyclical resistance on 40,500, but if this is a strong move and we're still breaking into the uptrends on the 4,500, that'll just keep going. Let me just show you the middle time frame. So the middle time frame is important for looking at the exhaustion patterns. That's what I do. So the activity over the last couple of days, we had this sell-off yesterday, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence kind of comes in. We got some Rambo patterns. That's kind of after the close of trades. That's not unusual during the after hours there. But then the press down that we had today below 1860, blue professional bar comes in. That's a bit of a U-turn. So the professionals have resting buy orders as this thing kind of makes new lows, and then they're anxious to buy it on the way up here. And you get a blue professional bar kind of following up. We test in with a little amateur bar kind of testing into that range, and then we start to take off. So here we are, and we put in bullish divergence here. So we're going to make exhaustion patterns on the upside, and I think this could easily take us through 1880, kind of get the thing going. So that's what I think is going to happen over the next couple of days. So what are we're coming into Thursday, Friday. Fridays tend to be kind of bullish. So we've got 2 days of kind of clear trade in order to make some distance up above 18, or start to move towards 1880s and see what happens when we bust through there. I think it could get exciting. Day trades. I had a nice pre-open trade. This has been the last couple of days, the story for the last couple of days, just because I'm trading the from Sydney. So for me, the open is 11:30 p.m. at night. So if I can get off a trade pre-open, I'll do it. And we had a really nice little setup pre-open. Just to explain it. Usually, you can actually reduce your targets on the pre-open trades to 3 points instead of 4 points. Because there tends to be a little less volatility. I've been lucky the last couple of trades. I've kept it at 4 points and I've had both those targets hit. In one case it took over 4 hours for that trade which normally would be maybe a 15-minute trade during the full liquidity of the day. But pre-open it can be slow. This one last night for me was actually pretty quick relatively. But here was the setup, and on the 500 tip bar chart, we'd kind of had exhaustion selling bullish divergence come in, and at 62 we had blue professional bars step in here. So we tested to the lows of those blue professional bars, they held, and we started crack to the upside. Then we had blue professional bars starting to jump the creek here above resistance, and they start to get above resistance, and they're kind of all of a sudden, oops, this is moving into a trend move. Got to jump on board. Some professionals kind of doing their jumping on board there, jumping the creek. We have a little amateur testing bar kind of down here. The amateur's going the wrong way, thinking they'll sell at that point, and no, it starts to crack to new highs. Then we get a little bit of weakness, kind of some big down bars here. But on this retrace, and this is the signal for getting in long, at the lows of this blue professional bar, we have the professionals kind of step in again. So where they were anxious to buy this breakout, get on board this breakout move, they come back when we reach that level again. We come back into that level, the professionals step back in. So they've got resting buy orders as this blue professional bar comes into support. Then they're anxious to get on board. We get 2 little blue professional bars kind of anxiously buying it and buying it. The amateurs getting wrong-footed with a Rambo pattern. They're going short at new lows there. So they're going the wrong way. The professionals step in and bang, it cracks to the upside. So I got in on the break of the high of that first blue professional bar there, and then it quickly got followed up by this blue professional bar, which was nice. So I was long 63.75, and then this thing just took off. I was actually having my dinner and took off to the upside. My target was 67.75. That got hit just as the blue professional bars kind of came in here before that weakness kind of came in. But this thing kind of kept going until we had kind of a blow-off move, and then during the full liquidity of the day we tested into that 71 level up here, and then we kind of gave it away after flush patterns and so on. And then we went into a down sequence until that low for the day was made. But that was a nice little kind of testing pattern. You can see where the professionals come in. First of all, they buy the breakout, and it comes back to that breakout level. They're anxious to get it, and as soon as we start breaking above that little U-turn there, bang, this thing really takes off to the upside. So nice little trade, good example of better pro-am and the cyclical patterns all coming together. Anyway, so I might tag that on. I hope your trading's going well, and yeah, I'm looking for this 18 and critical level 1880 over the next couple of days and see if we actually get a break through that. Just got long 63.75. Checked my stops and targets. What is it? It is 5:41 a.m. Chicago time. It's mid-morning in the European session, and the reason for going long is we had a triple support set up on all three time frames, and you can just see it on the 500 tick bar chart. Was this support down here. This one came in on 1500, and we had one on 45. We just overshot at a fraction with rainbow patterns. We come back up. So the market's showing that it's strong. That kind of held, and we overshot resistance on the 500. So that's showing we're strong here. And it was resistance at 1500 as well. So we've come back. Now we've come back into blue professional bars. So you can see we had blue professional bars pick it up at the lows at 62. And then they were kind of buying this breakout here, tested with amateur down bars, and we came up almost to 66. We've come back now into this zone where the blue professional bars were picking it up here and here. Amateurs are getting short with rainbow patterns. The professionals step in. They picked it up on the way down here, and they're kind of buying this little breakout here. So it's kind of in the zone where they were interested, and it's come back into their kind of kind of range. So when I see a blue professional bar on 1500, what I'm hoping is that this kind of continues up now, breaks through this 65.5 into an uptrend above resistance on 1500. So let's see. It's a pre-open trade. It's kind of mid-morning European time, and the Europeans can't really decide what to do. It's not continuing down, but it's not kind of a strong move up yet. So we're just staying at entry. Let's see where it goes next. There you go. Step away from my computer for a few minutes and just takes off. So now entry was kind of confirmed after we broke this blue professional bar. Now at 64s we've got another one kind of come in, so a little bit of a U-turn there, and we rocketed up to 67, and now we've broken through resistance on 1500. So it's a trend move on 1500. We've got exhaustion here, so it's travelled pretty far, pretty fast. Blue professional bars coming at 67. Targets at 775, 775. So all I need is another little bit of a burst, and this has happened pretty quickly considering it's a pre-open trade. Usually they take several hours to develop, but this has happened quickly. So come on, go, just taking out 67.75 for 4, which is excellent. Nice pre-open trade. So it takes pressure off. Doesn't mean I have to trade this evening. It's about 9:21 p.m. Sydney time, 6:21 a.m. Chicago time. So probably watch the open, but yeah, it's good. And just as the blue professional bar is kind of coming in, which is showing a little bit of profit taking here, so it's good to be out there.